On Global TV News Express, Tinubu orders probe of Niger boat accident as 36. In business, October 1st deadline, Naira for crude deal yet to take off. On the foreign scene, French court allows public to view wife rape trial video evidence. And in sports, Ahmed Musa Shehu Abdullahi rejoined Kano Pillars. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the News Express on Global Television. We're coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nigecomsat. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment in fighting Nigeria's insecurity. He stated this while delivering a keynote address during the inaugural international lecture organized by the News Agency of Nigeria in Abuja. Edika Michael has details.
President Bola Tinubu, represented by his National Security Advisor Malam Ribadu, says that security has improved over the short stay of President Tinubu in office.
This is just the beginning. Sit down and wait and see what is going to happen. Nigeria will be, inshallah, will be protected. Nigeria will be fixed. Nigeria will be better. It's time for us to turn everything. And we're going to do it.
Mr. Ribadu compared insecurity at the past with an increased improvement under his watch, stressing that the present administration is determined to combat insecurity, bedeviling some parts of the country.
But I'm here to tell you that Mr. President, love his people. Mr. President cares for Nigerians. Mr. President will never allow pain and harm to Nigerians. He will not. He will work hard to serve you. You will not regret electing him as your president. I can assure you of that. Every single moment. Nothing more important to do than Nigeria and Nigerians.
Speaking as the lecture's chairman, Nigeria's former head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, retired, enumerated factors fueling crisis in the Sahel region to include poverty, unemployment, climate change, among others. He advised that Nigeria's capacity in fighting the menace shouldn't be diminished.
These factors have certainly created a fertile ground for insecurity to thrive, with devastating impacts on our dear nation. We must not, however, lose faith in our capacity to ride above the storms of insecurity, since this challenge is the business of each and every Nigerian, and indeed all Africans.
In his address of welcome, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, insists that security is every Nigeria's business, while assuring that Tinubu's administration holds it a duty to create a safer nation.
The violence in the Sahel, therefore, is not an isolated issue, and no single country can tackle it alone. Therefore, Nigeria has stepped up its engagement with its neighbors and other regional and international partners. A strengthening joint military operations such as the multinational Joint Task Force, and also supporting initiatives that aim to stabilize the Sahel region.
The inaugural lecture, which also had goodwill messages from security chiefs, governors, ministers, and foreign ambassadors, is part of the national efforts to unravel public discourse on the deliberating challenges of terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and militancy, among others, in the country. Edika Michael for Global TV News.
President Bola Tinubu may bar revenue-generating agencies from collecting revenues on behalf of the federal government as he plans to introduce a single agency, Nigeria Revenue Service, to handle the task. This came as the federal government instituted a comprehensive set of fresh tax reforms aimed at significantly boosting revenue collection. The reforms designed to enhance the efficiency of collecting direct taxes along with various levies that are imposed on behalf of the government will bar the Nigerian Customs Service, Nigerian Ports Authority, and 60 other revenue collection agencies from participating in revenue collection activities that will lead to the creation of the Nigeria Revenue Service. Governor Hope Uzodinma has inaugurated a scholarship and pilgrim board in Imo State to help identify and support bright students in rural and urban areas in the state. The governor says the board aims to help talented students, especially the vulnerable ones, reach their full potential. Here is Amachi Ibe's report.
Speaking at the event, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma urged the board to work prudently and avoid jeopardizing their mission, while emphasizing the importance of supporting deserving students to achieve their academic goals.
Ensure that the real reason for setting up this board, which is to impact and bring value to the people of Imo State and our citizens, is not jeopardized. Please deploy prudence, honor and integrity in the discharge of their duties and the service of mankind.
In their separate speech, the chairman of the scholarship board, Reverend Father Maurice Oniwo, and the chairman of the pilgrim board, Reverend Father Gilbert Alaribe, expressed their gratitude to the governor for the opportunity to serve the state, while promising to work diligently to support positive impact in the state.
Our work will seek to improve the pilgrimage experience for Imo pilgrims. Through our work too, we will contribute to harmonizing interfaith relationships in the state. We come with our different capacities and expertise.
And promise you that as a team we will do our best to ensure that your dream and the dream of the state government is realized as we work together as a team.
With the inauguration of the board, students in Imo State, especially the less privileged ones, will have the opportunity to reach their full potentials in education. From Imo Government House, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV.
Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has faulted those who built houses on the riverbanks for obstructing the passage of water from River Ngada, which was destroyed by the recent flood. Zulum conducted an assessment of some vital infrastructure, including roads, bridges, and hospitals damaged by the flood disaster that struck Maiduguri metropolis and the surrounding local government areas. The tour included critical government-owned facilities like the Gwange Maternity Hospital, road networks and Fori, Moro markets, and Gwange bridges. Sokoto State Government says it has employed 845 nurses and midwives to facilitate access to improve quality healthcare services delivery across the primary health centers in the state. The economic advisor to Sokoto Governor, Dr. Bashir Achida, said this during an interview with newsmen in Abuja. Achida noted that the recruitment became necessary given the need to address the medical personnel gap in the state. He told newsmen that the state government was determined to address healthcare challenges such as maternity and infant mortality rates and vesicovaginal fistula. The Internal Party Advisory Council, also called IPAC, has condemned alleged plans by some interest groups and politicians to truncate the upcoming Rivers State local government election, urging the nation's democracy should be jealously guided. Anthony Mamadou now reports.
The council's chairman, Yusuf Dantale, stated that it was time Nigeria did away with the era of caretaker committees overseeing local government affairs.
The era of caretaker committee to administer the affairs of local government in Nigeria is over with the recent Supreme Court landmark judgment which granted financial autonomy to them. It must be noted that it is a Supreme Court judgment that has now accelerated the conduct of local government election across the country which some misguided politicians want to abort for personal aggrandizement. This will not happen under our watch.
Dantale called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and all stakeholders to ensure that the local government polls are not sabotaged, charging electorate in Rivers State to come out en masse to be part of the upcoming electoral exercise to ensure a free, fair, and credible elections.
IPAC also urges political parties to actively participate in the elections and enjoin eligible voters to turn out in mass and vote for candidates of their choices. IPAC also demands free, fair, credible, peaceful, inclusive elections. IPAC urges the judiciary to be guided by the Constitution, rule of law, national interest to avoid truncating the nation's democracy.
Social Democratic and Zenith Labour Party chairman Shehu Musa Gabam and Danny Wayangu stated that disregard for the rule of law and abuse of power of incumbency have had adverse impact on the nation's electoral process.
As SDP, we have sued 6 states local government elections. The process were not followed. So I'm here to discuss issues of judicial recklessness in creating this position, not to endorse any state governor that do not comply with the law.
Judiciary should help us save this democracy. They should help us. They should not be looking towards those with deep pockets. That is what we are seeing today.
The council sued for a multi-stakeholder collaboration to ensure successful local government polls across the country. Anthony Momodu reporting for Global TV News.
The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, heads of state and government, says it is planning to institute a 5,000-man kinetic force to tackle terrorism in the region. The president of the ECOWAS Commission, Omar Toure, disclosed this in Abuja. The regional bloc disclosed that 1,605 terror attacks had been recorded between January and August 2024 in West Africa, with a total of 6,956 fatalities. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has vowed to hold Kayode Egbetokun, the Inspector General of Police, responsible if there is breakdown of law and order in the state. It was reported that Fubara had stormed head office of the Rivers Independent National Electoral Commission to prevent an attempt to allegedly cart away materials for the weekend's local government election. Speaking at the press conference in Port Harcourt, Rivers State capital, Governor Fubara reminded Egbetokun of his critical role as head of the nation's police force. A federal capital territory high court in Abuja has barred a former governor of Taraba State, Darius Ishaku, from traveling out of the country pending the conclusion of his ongoing 27 billion naira fraud trial. Justice Silvanus Ojiji imposed the travel restrictions as part of the conditions attached to the bail granted to the ex-governor, alongside his co-defendant Bello Yero. The judge granted Ishaku a 150 million naira bail with 2 sureties in like sum, stating that both sureties must be residents in Abuja, while one must be a director in federal government employment. The Adamawa State Police Command has disclosed that the 30-year-old Abdullahi Mohammed, who climbed a 33 kVA high-tension electricity pole in Mayo Belwa last Friday, has been admitted at the Yola Psychiatric Hospital for mental examination. The police public relations officer of the command, Superintendent of Police Suleiman Nguroje, say Mohammed is undergoing psychiatric tests at a facility located inside the premises of the specialist hospital in Yola. The Anambra State Command of Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested 5 suspected illegal private security guards with 3 pump-action guns. The State Commandant, Naku Olatunde, disclosed this in Oka while parading the suspects. According to a press statement signed by the Superintendent of Corps and Head, Media and Tactical Operations, NSCDC, Anambra State Command, Olatunde, says the suspects were arrested in government area of Anambra State extorting money from motorists while causing untold hardships to the road users. Governor Muhammadu Yahya of Gombe State has set up a high-level negotiation team to engage with the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities, and the National Association of Academic Technologists, all of Gombe State University. A statement by the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Ibrahim Njodi, indicated that the team will be chaired by the Deputy Governor, Dr. Manasseh Jatau. He also says the committee, comprising other key government officials, has been tasked with negotiating the demands put forward by the unions and resolving them through dialogue to ensure the stability of academic activities at the Gombe State University. You're watching the News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When the News Express returns, Naira gains as dollar supply surges by 147.66%. Details of this and more after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. If you've just joined us, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcast of the News Express. In business, oil prices stabilized after soaring on fears about the Middle East crisis as investors await Israel's response to Iran's missile attack, while shares in Hong Kong resumed their rally on a mixed day for equity markets. Speculations about Israel's response to the scores of missiles fired at it has sparked concern that the region could erupt into a wider conflict that incorporates Iran. Crude has risen around 10% since that launch, owing to fears of a hit to supplies, while China's recent drive to reignite its vast economy has the potential to cause a surge in demand. There are indications that the supply of crude oil in Naira by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, which should have started on October 1st, 2024, has yet to begin. On September 13, 2024, the committee announced that the Federal Executive Council, under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu, approved the sale of crude to local refineries in Naira and the corresponding purchase of petroleum products in Naira. Jigawa State Governor Umar Namadi has announced the local wheat farmers are benefiting from a substantial subsidy program, with the state government covering 75% of costs associated with agricultural inputs. The initiative, according to the governor, aims to enhance wheat production and support food self-sufficiency in Nigeria. Following the West and Central Africa Development Network Wheat Second Regional Summit in Abuja, Namadi emphasized the state's commitment to expanding wheat cultivation. As the rising price of cooking gas continues eating deep into people's earnings, many residents in Kano are switching to using wood and charcoal to prepare their meals. In this special report, Global Television's correspondent Idris Jibrin takes a look at the implications of the price increase on Kano residents and its impact on the environment.
It's been 10 years since Muhammad Yakubu switched from firewood and charcoal to cooking gas to prepare his meals. He says it's faster, easier, and healthier. But with the higher prices eating deep into his earning, he's wondering if that is a wise move. Honestly, right now, I'm thinking of switching to using wood and charcoal because the continuous increase in the price of cooking gas is disturbing me. The rising cost of gas for cooking has pushed many in Kano to resort to using wood and charcoal. Here at the local charcoal market in Kano, new consignments arrived. Business is booming. And I can tell you that in a day, we used to have like 500 bags, from 400, 300 to 500 bags of charcoal. To make those 500 bags, dozens of trees must have been cut down, effectively reversing gains made in protecting trees in a country where over 10 million are cut down every year. From different parts of the country, we used to bring this wood, and people are buying because cooking gas is very expensive. Experts say cooking gas rose by 60% in 2020, exceeding 1 million metric tons. Sales grew further within the last 2 years, but then slowed down due to reduction in supply. The country now has to import gas at a higher prices.
The continuous price increases has to do with the continuous price increase of the product itself, and then you're having an increase in the cost of transport too.
Although expert believes that increasing people's use of cooking gas will save millions of trees and the environment. But the high cost of liquefied petroleum gas will make that harder to achieve, especially when millions of trees are cut down daily to produce wood as much as this. From Kano, Idris Jobrin reporting for Global Television News.
The Federal Capital Territory's Fire Service says the agency recorded 271 incidents and saved 11 lives in the FCT from January to August 2024. The service's acting director, Mr. Adebayo Amiola, disclosed this while briefing newsmen on the agency's activities in Abuja. Amiola added that the service also saved 8.23 billion naira from the fire incidents, while properties worth 1.96 billion naira were lost within the period. He advised residents to be cautious by taking fire preventive measures, especially in markets, to reduce the incidence of fire outbreaks in the territory. The federal government has announced the distribution of 150,000 naira to small business owners in the southeast states. Enugu. This was contained in a statement by the spokesperson of the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, Stanley Nkwocha, following Shettima's visit to the MSME Fashion Hub in the state. Speaking during the launch of the 5th expanded National MSME Clinic in the Coal City, the Vice President noted that 150,000 naira, which is an outright grant that has no requirement for repayment, reflects the commitment of the Tinubu administration to nurturing MSMEs and fostering economic growth in the country. The Lagos State government has announced that it will willfully enforce the ban on styrofoam food containers and single-use plastics by January 2025. The moratorium on SUPs extended until the end of 2024 will soon expire, paving the way for full implementation. This decision aims to mitigate the harmful effects of plastic waste on both the environment and public health. African oil-producing nations planning to launch a $5 billion energy bank next year in Abuja have already secured 45% of the required startup capital. The bank aims to address the funding gap created by traditional investors, shifting their focus from crude oil to low-carbon energy. According to Omar Farouk Ibrahim, Secretary General of the African Petroleum Producers Organization, Angola, Nigeria and Ghana are among the initial backers, with funds raised even before the bank's legal establishment. On the foreign scene, a court trying a French man charged with enlisting dozens of strangers to rape his heavily drugged wife ruled that the public could be present when video evidence is screened, reversing an earlier decision. Lawyers from the victim, Giselle Pellicot, ex-wife of the main accused, Dominique Pellicot, hailed as a victory the ruling announced by Judge Roger Arata. The screening of images will be preceded by an announcement allowing people of a sensitive disposition and minors to leave the courtroom, according to the judge. Since the trial started on September 2nd, the court in the southern city of Avignon has been reserved for members of the court, the parties, and the press. In sports, Nigeria internationals Ahmed Musa and Shehu Abdullahi have rejoined Kano Pillars on short-term contracts for the 2024 and 2025 Premier Football League. Both players were pictured at the training ground of the former champions on Thursday ahead of their NPFL match day 5 home game against Sunshine Stars. Ahmed Musa, Shehu Abdullahi, Nazir Laja and the rest of the squad trained ahead of NPFL 2025 and 2024 match day 5 clash against Sunshine Stars this weekend. The 31-year-old Musa is rejoining Pillars for a third stint after featuring for them between 2009 and 2010 as well as 2021. The under-17 women national team Flamingos arrived at their campsite in Santo Domingo, a city in the Dominican Republic, for a 2-week intensive camping exercise ahead of the 2024 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup finals held from October 16th to November 3rd in the country. Flamingos are lodged in Group A alongside host country Dominican Republic, Ecuador and New Zealand, whom they face in their opening game on October 16 at Estadio Cibao Santiago de los Caballeros. The Flamingos have been to every edition of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, missing only the 2018 edition. To end the News Express, let's take a look at some of our top stories. President Tinubu has ordered probe of Niger boat accident with death toll rising to 36. Naira for crude deal misses October 1 deadline. And in sports, we told you Ahmed Musa and Shehu Abdullahi have rejoined Kano Pillars. That's it on the News Express, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and free to air on Nigecomsat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.